part of the context of this show is really understanding that we are today, in today's world, we are medicated, sedated, and just completely taken away from our purpose in life. And that means the pain that we go through life as well. And as a coach of almost 30 years, I can tell you, this is the number one thing that I see, that we are taking ourselves farther away from the grit and the resiliency of navigating life. Life is not easy. Life is extremely difficult. But when we walk along with Christ and we allow him in those moments of our life, the game changes. And that's what I want you to understand. I want you to take away from this particular podcast and what we're going to build in the future and the people that we're going to have on, because they have such amazing stories. And by the way, this message of being forged through the fire is not just for an athlete or someone who is building an incredible business. It is for the everyday person who navigates the world in 2024. Because I don't know about you guys, but for the last 4 years, I have been in triage as a coach with taking on every client and every family that came to my door to be in service. And I've seen quite a bit, and I've coached quite a bit. And I can tell you, this is the number one thing that I want to focus on, is getting people through those fires of life and knowing and equipping them with honestly, the confidence that they have to do this. And for me, I believe it's Christ. I believe that when you realize you're not in this together and you're created on purpose for a purpose, it's kind of like one of my young clients said to me, T, I finally realized that I'm part of this. I was put here to create something and to be somebody. It's like you're a small puzzle piece in this and no one else can fit but you. And imagine if you knew that going through difficult moments. Imagine if you had parents that raised you in such a way that you were put here on purpose and we're going to navigate life together and we're going to figure this out and we're going to get to a place and to a point of realizing that these trials that you go through, they're meant to grow you. They're not meant to take you out. They're not meant to debilitate you. But I can tell you right now, you will not be the same person when you get through these. And that's why I wanted to use that image of Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego going through the fire with Christ and realizing that they didn't get burned, but they went through one heck of an experience. And on the other side, they know now who they truly are and whose they truly are. So we've forgotten, I believe, how to feel, how to actually go through difficult moments, how to actually navigate this world, because let's face it, life's been pretty easy for a very long time for many generations. And we haven't had to go through a lot of trials in the big sense of the word. Yes, we have illnesses, we have losses and disappointments. We do have all of those. And either if you're disappointed, it doesn't mean that you have to be discouraged, because discouragement is a choice, by the way. And I know that may sound crazy and annoying, because the last thing you want to do is to pull yourself out. You want to remain a victim, because then you don't have to change. You don't have to accept any kind of accountability. And that's why this story is so important to me, and why the name Forged is really important for this particular podcast, is because I don't know who we would be if we weren't allowed to actually feel. It takes 90 seconds for an emotion to go through the body. And that's if it's allowed to go through the body. If it's blocked, or if someone else tries to interrupt it, that's where we get stuck. So think back to when maybe you might have had a difficult time, or you might have gone through something that was very uncomfortable. Because to speak to that, we have a comfort crisis in this world. We're very comfortable. Everybody is so focused on the things that they want in the materialistic part, and we live our life through social media lens, that we haven't really figured out we have to actually build and create. We may have to go to battle. Who are you going to battle with? Whether it's your family and your friends, or whether it's Christ by your side. Either way, it's a choice. And so in this podcast, I want you to find yourself. When we have these conversations with incredible people, I want you to know and to see that you may go through something. And I pray to God that you do, because I don't want to ever save you from that. Because typical modalities of therapy and counseling and that, they save you from the very opportunity that you have to grow, or they medicate you through it because you don't want to feel bad. And as a coach, I can tell you, you may not feel good all the time, but you have to feel all the time.